Savvy Central Radio, drawing out the best from our guest with your host, Christina Nitschmann.
Hello everyone and welcome to Savvy Central Radio. This is your host, Christina Nitschmann. Each week, Savvy runs weekly broadcasts providing entrepreneurs and successful individuals a platform to express their dreams, hopes, lessons learned, expertise, and wisdom with the world. Our guest today is Paul Mladjenovic, national seminar leader and best-selling author, discussing with us today his course, Zero Cost Marketing. Our sponsors today are Nassau Flyers, NFI, an aircraft management company, Winty Aviation T-shirt Art, a graphic design business, and Heather Merkel of Bull Buster Business Coaching. Everyone, I want to thank you for coming to our main attraction today, which is talking to Paul Mladjenovic, national seminar leader, best-selling author, and financial planner. He's going to talk about his best-selling book and course, Zero Cost Marketing. And it's a really big thing in our businesses. We want to figure out ways to be cost-effective in our business and market for little or nothing, if possible. So before we get started, tell us a little bit about, for people who don't know who you are, a little bit about your background, how you came to writing Zero Cost Marketing.
Well, actually, I started teaching. Really, my first love was really helping people with investing, and I started in that industry. And I said, man, I wish there was a job. I was saying to myself, where I was helping people with their money and enjoying myself, dealing with people in an interactive basis. And I remember seeing they had the first time we were talking about a new position called Certified Financial Planner. I go, what is that? It's like it was designed for me. So I got my CFP designation, Certified Financial Planner designation, and right here in Manhattan. In 1985, so this is my 30-year anniversary of being a CFP. So I had one back then when there was like only 6 of them. You know what I mean? And because I help people with investing, and my specialty was small investors. They didn't have a lot of money. And the very first course I ever did was called the $50 Wealth Builder, how to invest even with small amounts of money. And that was in 1983. And then I've had people tell me, oh, Paul, I don't even have $50. He says, oh my God. And I said, you're in America. You could start a business and make the $50 and then invest the $50, you know? So my second specialty started in 1986 or so, where I help people launch a home-based business. So this evolved into my persona, which was the raving capitalist, which is like really, and the reason why it's called raving capitalist, because I was born in a communist country. See, that's how you become a raving capitalist. You know what I mean? And the thing is, so I tell people everyone should have a two-pronged approach to wealth building. Prong number one is having your money work for you. Like like my main book, well, one of my main books, Stock Investing for Dummies. So I've been teaching that for years. And so therefore you should have your money working for you, whether it's, dividend paying stocks, or I do courses on options, etc. But the second thing is that people should be doing active wealth building. Like everyone here in this room should have a home-based business, even if you have a full-time job or full-time business from Monday to Friday. You know why? Because that's a form of diversification as well. Isn't that true? How many people have you seen lose their job in their last, 5, 10, 15 years? And if they had more ways of making money, they will be diversified and be better off. So that's what started off, and that's what became the raving capitalist. And of course, when you're launching a small business or a home-based business, you don't have a lot of money. You don't have a big marketing budget. Absolutely. So I told people, look, you don't have to spend a fortune on this. You should just spend what? A little time, a little effort, a little desire, a little creativity, and you could do zero-cost marketing. So I learned all the possible ways you could do zero-cost marketing. Again, where you could market even if you had no marketing budget, And there was more ways to do it than you can imagine. So my Zero Cost Marketing book became a treasury, and I did it in 1995. So this is another anniversary year. Yeah. So look at this. I'm celebrating my anniversary of being a CFP and Zero Cost Marketing right here on your program. How cool is that? You know?
Yeah. And what's great about it, I had a guest on last year who said what's really awesome about being a small business is you have a lot more that you can use creativity-wise. When you're a huge business like, say, McDonald's or Coke, you have to fit within the brand that you've already established. As a small business, it gives you a lot more leverage to be more creative. So for anyone out there who's starting a business and, hey, they don't have much budget, where do they begin to figure out what their marketing plan should be?
Well, first of all, when I tell people about doing a marketing plan, you know what happens. You tell people you should do a marketing plan. And I see the balloons over people's heads. They visualize this 800-page document. They pull into a wheelbarrow, and they have to do 10 years of sales forecasting and analysis. You're like, oh my God, please, somebody shoot me. I'll wait for the movie, right? This is how I respond, But no, your marketing plan could be something as simple as a few questions that you ask yourself that you answer as completely and as honestly and as accurately as possible. The first question in your marketing plan is really, who is your target market? Who is your target market? Okay? Now, and the real way to phrase it for you and me is, who best benefits from what you have to offer? Look, all of you have something you can offer. A product, a service. There's so many things you can do. I'll be launching a course on how to start a part-time business on Udemy, and all of you can do some sensational things, even if you don't have a product or service. But the bottom line is, look, if you're going to be making money with a product or service, really, who's going to be paying you that money? It's going to be that target market. So you ask yourself, who's going to best benefit from what you have to offer? Okay? That's the best way of putting it. Because once you know who best benefits from what you have to offer, the rest of it falls into place. Like right now, I think one of your questions that we talked about was on social media. Yeah. Right now, I think that you should consider it mandatory to be on LinkedIn. Yeah. Right? Why? Two things are there. Number one, people and products that can help you with your business. And number two, your target market. Doesn't matter who you're reaching. They're a group on LinkedIn. All right? So finding it is now easier than ever before. When I started my part-time business, my God, it was 1981. Some of you were not even born at the time. You know what I mean? And now it's chic to have a home-based business. In 1981, nobody wanted to say that they had a home-based business because they thought, like, do I work at home? Oh my God, must be a scam, whatever, So I remember in 1981 when people used to say, mail to me, I wouldn't be apartment 3. I was in a tenement building in Hoboken, New Jersey, in that time in 1981, and so instead of apartment 3, it was suite 3. So no matter what, I made sure no one knew that I worked at a home-based business. But you didn't lie, but you didn't reveal it because otherwise they thought otherwise. You know what I mean? Yeah. But in any case, now it's okay. Now it's in. Millions of people have a home-based business. I think everyone should have a home-based business for lots of reasons. Yeah. But the thing is that for your marketing purposes, the first question is, who's your target market? The next question is, of course, where is your target market? And you have the benefit now. I think the internet has been the most powerful game changer for you and me. It's been an equalizer. The idea that I can sell my stuff on Amazon and have a $1 billion company selling my stuff while I'm doing some other things. Having places like LinkedIn and Facebook where I can be able to find clients when it used to be tough to find clients and do cold calling and all the rest. Yeah. Now it's a lot easier, So,
absolutely. Absolutely. And what's awesome about today, the leveraging internet, is that I found, remember in the old days, you'd have to actually pick up the yellow pages and call everyone up and do it that way. But now you can go on the internet. The thing that's worked best for me, like you mentioned LinkedIn, is I will connect on a LinkedIn group, get to know someone, do chats, and then schedule, if I like someone, schedule a chat where we have a Skype chat and get to know each other better and then build from there. And I've met some wonderful people that become later on business contacts, associates, and clients. So it's great leveraging.
Exactly. And for you, among the first things to do after you figure out who's your target market, and the third question is, who reaches your target market who doesn't compete with you? In many cases, let me tell you something. Part of success for entrepreneurs is like, there are venues out there that have audiences, but they don't have your content or your offering. So you can very easily do an exchange such as that. You know that there are millions of affiliates online. They would love to be paid money by reselling your stuff. There's places on there, like, for example, the Warrior Forum, where there's 780,000 internet marketers. Well, you don't want to market? You know what? Then you cut the profits and you do it with them, But let me give you what I'd like to say is my first bit of homework. Because of all of you who you want to succeed, here's your first bit of homework. Okay. But you have homework, but I'll put you at ease. The surprise quiz has been canceled. All right. Now, so here's what I'd like you to do. So jot this down because I might do spot checks. All righty. What I'd like to see you do is this. First of all, part of your zero-cost marketing approach is this. You're not going to have to pay for advertising or pay for any of this, etc. But the point is this. All of you should be able to put something, your knowledge, information, whatever you do, in a bit of content, solid content that you're happy to even give away for free or next to nothing, because that's going to be your form of zero-cost marketing, taking your content. For example, like if one of you, for example, I don't know, you have a gardening store, whatever, you have like gardening products or like whatever. Then if I were you, I would do a course on gardening on places like Udemy or some of these other places. Why? Because the thing is, once people find you and they see that you're an expert and they see you in action, you've broken the ice. People now can be able to contact you and find what products you want to do. A good example, like take Home Depot, for example. They do what any one of you can do. Like, their main thing that they sell is what? Products like ranging from repairing your home to your toilet, whatever, anything like that, right? So they do a free YouTube channel, just like you can do, and they'll do free videos on how to do a home repair. Because they're not into services for the most part, they're into product. Okay, so they know that person who's watching that video on how to prepare a broken window will come into Home Depot and be buying materials to fix the broken window. So for you, content is very easy. Whether you write an article or whether you do a video or do an audio, all three of these things can be done. And the great thing about doing this is that beside the fact that it markets you, some of these things are not just zero-cost marketing, they're paid marketing. Like, for example, I think one of the best entrepreneurs in the room here, I had a chance to meet Heather before. We talked about this. For example, I mentioned some of my courses are on Udemy. And I think one of the free giveaways this evening is going to be zero-cost marketing.
Yep.
And we're going to give that winner the free access link
awesome content.
to the full zero-cost marketing program. I mean, I brought this up because it looks nice, but you're not going to get this. I need a coaster for my glass of wine later. So the thing is that once you're in there, has like 50 videos, and it's 3 hours of audio, plus some. I found 8 of my favorite marketing experts that I know personally, like how to get radio and TV interviews, how to market in Pinterest. If one of my students does Kindle marketing, you could do Kindle marketing. In other words, he will put up a book, put together the cover, put it on Amazon, and he sells several hundred copies a month, passive income. Wow. But in addition, what does that book do? It projects his authority, how to contact him. And he's done very well. And I was so proud to see a student of mine. How cool is that? Yes. Right. No, but all of you could be like that. It's so very easy. So the thing about what I'd like you to do is this. A couple examples about how you can take content. Easy content that'll market you, plus even give you possibly some passive income. Would you like to hear that? Would you like that? Okay.
Yeah,
for example, a good example of content marketing. There's a great site online called ehow.com. Just like EHOW, right? And I tell you how I found it. One time we had guests over. My wonderful wife and I had guests over, and I forgot what a guest or whoever knocked over one of the candles. And of course, you got the hot wax on the delicate doily, whatever. You know what I'm saying to you? I go, oh my God. So my wife gave me the task, you got to get that stain out of there. So, oh my God. So what do I do like anybody? Go online. I type in, how to remove wax from a delicate fabric or doily, whatever. Among the first things that came up was ehow.com. Alrighty? Now, you know what ehow does? Any one of you could do any article. Now here, I saw 5 different articles on how to remove wax from a doily or whatever. You know what I mean? And we did it okay. You know what I mean? But the thing is, somebody wrote that article years ago, and because that's an evergreen topic, let's face it, 5 years from now, someone's going to look for an article about how to remove wax from it's going to be me again, because I'm going to forget. You know what I mean? And the thing is, these people write these articles. Those are simple articles, right? But those are things that people always want to need. That help to market her, give her a profile. And eHow, because it's all articles, when you do a search on your favorite search engine, eHow is one of the top 10 things that come up. So that means that you get a chance to write on a website that is among the top 10 consistently without you knocking yourself out. You do a few simple articles, right? And not only that, you know what they do? You write the article, they market the article for you, and then they put on like advertising revenue, like with AdSense and other types. And you get income from that even years later, which is really cool. So in other words, it's content. You're solving somebody's problem, you're doing marketing, and you're getting paid. How cool is that?
Totally awesome.
You follow? Now, for some of you say, well, Paul, I can't write a thing. I can't barely write my name. Not a problem. Right now, everyone has either a cell phone or, I have a dumb phone. My wife has a smartphone, which is actually pretty good matching up. You know what I mean? And the thing is that right now, you have a flip camera that you can be able to imagine taking a 5-minute video, putting it online, and it's marketing you, plus you're getting paid even months and years later. Isn't that cool? Right? I give you the site that you could do that in. There's a site, I'll spell it for you, but there's a site called coursmos.com. That's spelled COURSMOS.com. Coursmos.com. So, I know people out there who will do like a 5-minute video. Make sure it's a self-contained thing, like solving a problem. All right? And they'll put it up. And these articles are like these videos, you're best off to do the first one for free. But the remaining, you could charge like $2 or $3 or $4 or $5. See what other people are doing, okay? So I know people on there who have dozens of these videos, and the amazing thing is, because they're all 5-minute video, you know how these times are amazing, right? Like Vito remembers my day. You could sit through a 6-hour seminar whether you liked it or not. You know what I mean? You had to stay focused. Am I right, Vito? Back in those days, right? And they were always the most boring instructor they had, right? Whatever it is, you know. But the thing is this Cosmos, their theme is, you know, what was it? Education for the distracted generation. Right? Because now people, their attention span is like 5 or 6 minutes, right? So they don't want to spend $59 for a 3-hour program, but they're happy to spend $2 or $3 or $5 for a 5-minute video. Why? Because they might be at their smartphone at the bus stop, right? Waiting to go to work.
Yeah.
But meanwhile, they pay $2. Who doesn't want to, you know, spring $2 or $3 to learn like a really juicy topic in 5 minutes, right? But the thing is this, you don't get rich making one of those. You don't do a lot of marketing with one of those. But what if there's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 videos like that?
Yeah.
It would be marketing you, 0 cost, projecting your authority, and even giving you passive residual income on top of all that. You follow?
Yep.
I think that's
fabulous.
Exactly. Yeah.
And with internet today, there's so many resources out there where you can do it for free. It's great.
Exactly.
Yeah.
All right. And you know, when you talk about this, sometimes people say to me, well, Paul, I've got a product, I got a service, I have content, I have knowledge to share that I know can really propel me, you know, higher, but where do I find an audience? I mean, I don't want to have to pay to be on, whatever.
Yeah.
Well, look, let me tell you something. You don't have to reinvent the wheel. You know, because I hear people say, oh, Paul, I would do blogging, but I hear that takes like 47 years and you finally get 2 people and it's like you get exhausted after all the writing.
Yeah.
You don't have to do that. Right now, there are literally, I mean, I did a list. I did my research. I found something like, I don't know, a couple of 100 sites out there, different niches, where you can do guest blogging. In other words, they would love your content, and in exchange, they'll do what? Put up your name, you know, like by John Smith, Jane Doe, and then a link to your site, which means that instantaneously, I mean, if you have expertise in, I don't know, you choose your topic, accounting. There's blogs on accounting, all right? You know, and so the thing is that you can write an article there, and now what? An audience of your targeted market sees you, and they can be able to do what? Contact you. And that can be able to what? Spread your authority and give you what? 0 cost marketing. And so that's where your homework comes in. Either you do a 5-minute video or you write an article. And your best bet really is to write an article, and I want you to copyright your article. Why? Any one of you could write an article. You know, as a matter of fact, would you like me to give you some places where you can go to where you can be able to find like places that'll even pay you for the article, plus give you the exposure and give you the authority and help you do 0 cost marketing? Would you like that? 2 places you can turn to, all right? There's one place called MediaBistro.com, MediaBistro.com, which is great. They have a free service, and they even have, let's see, there's like a $55 a year you can get in, but for $55, they give you added resources about how to get a paying gig that might give you $1,000, like in a major article or website. And they give you the actual procedures that they'll do to accept you. So the thing is, imagine being paid $1,000 plus reaching an audience of potentially thousands or hundreds of thousands. Would that boost your business? Absolutely. You know, another place that you may want to consider, and this one was a book that I used to buy regularly way back when. It was like a 5-pound book. If some of you remember Writer's Market, for those of you who did that, I love the Writer's Market. The Writer's Market was like about 2,000 pages, and it was filled from cover to cover on all these places that'll pay you money for your knowledge or information. You know, everything from technical journals all the way down to Reader's Digest, who want to find out what you did like on your vacation, basically, you know.
Yeah.
And that one is Writer's Market. If you look up writersmarket.com, now it's a full online thing. You could pay basically like $39 for a year. You get 1 year's access to 9,000 places that'll pay you money for your knowledge or information. And they'll even tell you exactly what they look for, format, how they pay, etc. And I think that's a great way to go.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
How many ideas have we given so far?
So many.
I mean, we barely scratched the surface. And they're going to throw us out over here.
And it's true. I mean, I've been doing blogging and podcasting beforehand. And for everyone who isn't really authority in writing so much, that's not your forte. Like me, it's more audio is my thing, or maybe you're visual. And what we have out there, like I started on Blog Talk Radio. At the time, they were paying me up to $800 to $900 a month as people came to my show and listened, depending on how many listeners you build up. So, I mean, that's free income, just rolling on in. So now you've worked with so many home businesses. What have you seen as some of the biggest misconceptions when it comes to marketing?
Oh, well, you know, it's quite interesting because, you know, I remember you mentioned at one point about the difference between sales and marketing. You know, because me and Vito It's not a it's like, his is the galaxy. Like, marketing is the universe, and sales is that last galaxy where you finally make the sale. You know what I mean? And so it's like, it works very well together.
Yeah.
Marketing means you find your target market. Sales is that final step. You know what I mean? And it's amazing to me, and I'm sure Vito could mention this as well, about like this misconception about, I think, selling. You know what I mean? Many people think, I don't know if I can do any selling. And you get that all the time. Am I right, Vito? I can't do any selling. You know what I mean? And the amazing thing is, if you're having a tough time selling your product or service in your home-based business, then my thinking is that you're probably selling the wrong thing. You know what I mean? You know what's interesting? I learned this years ago. Like, for example, when I got my CFP in 1985, everyone told me, well, you can't be a CFE without selling product like insurance and investments and annuities and things of this nature. That's what they told me, So, okay, fine. So I got my Series 7, my Series this, my World Series that, all of that stuff. You know what I mean? And people say, oh, Paul, you're a natural because you have the gift of gab. Well, you're going to do very well with this. But you know what? I would talk to people about investments. I loved educating them and whatever. But when it came time to ask them to buy like a mutual fund or insurance, I'd be whatever. I never got to the point where I had a bounce check in my drawer. So you were ahead of me at that time. But the thing is, I was able to sell people on my seminars, and on education. I had a much easier time, because I said, no, you would enjoy my seminar because I teach you about how to invest starting with $50 or doing this and whatever. And, I ended up learning that if you have to, some of these people try to compensate, like some of you might even do it. It says, well, you know what? I can't sell, so I better start taking these seminars on how to do salesmanship, right? And you sit there all day long and how to do this and that. Well, it's just great, you know what I mean? But the thing is, if what you're selling is not in your heart, it's not going to be in your persona. You follow? In other words, if you're not sold, how can you sell someone else? You follow? I've met people like that. They try to convince me to buy, and I say, well, did you get this or whatever? And I said, well, no, not yet. But, well, then, maybe you should go home and sell yourself first before you sell me. You know what I mean? So I end up learning that, listen, all of you are successful salespeople, whether you know it or not. You've all done selling. It just didn't strike you at that moment that you were selling. Okay? Did you ever have a moment like this? You say, oh, Christina, me and my wife went to this great restaurant last night. Oh, it was beautiful portions, the ambiance, it was fantastic. And like they had the this and that. And like, and you said, oh, I'll go next week with, with my family or whatever.
It's essentially convincing someone.
Yeah. In other words, when you really, like in that case, right, all of you, have you done that? Have you had a moment like that? Where you said to somebody, oh, you got to go to this restaurant. Oh, I got a great deal at that, so you got to go. You've been there, right? Yeah, of course. So in other words, but you were not selling somebody, you were sharing with somebody. Because when it's sharing, it's more genuine, right? And people say, oh, yeah, I'd love to do that, right? Yep. And there's also reverse selling as well, by the way. Have any of you had this moment? You says, oh, don't go over there.
Yeah.
The guy's an idiot. They overpriced, overcharged. It was horrible. It was disgusting. I had a horrible time. You know what I mean? You were selling then as well, right?
Yeah.
So the point is, once you're convinced that you're selling something you love, then it's not selling. It's sharing. Then you're eager to talk to people about it. Isn't it true? All of you had something you were eager to tell somebody about. Oh, I'm busting out the seams. I got to tell them about this. Well, guess what? You were selling whether you knew it or not. It just didn't feel like it to you. So you know what? It doesn't feel like it to them. All righty? And that's really zero-cost marketing. What does it take? A 5-minute conversation? So, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And you touched on something very early on that I know everyone in the audience wants to know about, and that is how to get on TV and radio. That is something I hear a lot about, like, how do I get on actual TV?
That's a great venue. And that's a great form of zero-cost marketing, And, it's interesting that one of the experts that is in my zero-cost marketing is somebody that I met years ago. I think my wife remembers him. He even stayed over our house. He was from California. Here's a guy, talk about like how businesses start. He launched his business. He had a horrific situation happen with a speeding ticket. It was a nightmare fighting. It was the police and the courts, and it was one of those horrible moments in life for him. Alrighty? And all of us have had a horrible moment in life, right? Well, maybe part of the reason you had a horrible moment in your life is because that was meant to turn it around and give you something that was going to make it a wonderful thing in your life. What he did was he was so annoyed by the speeding ticket fiasco he had, he wrote a book about it. And the book was entitled Beat the Cops, How to Beat a Speeding Ticket. Okay, and this is before there was the internet. So he produced these books for like 60 cents, right? He found them, and he sold them for like $9.95 via mail order. But the topic was so interesting. He was always being called onto programs to talk about this. Because everyone had, they want to know, how do you beat a speeding ticket? So he was invited on to 2,500 programs. I'm sure you've heard it's Alex Carroll. He was on One time he's in California, so I remember one time he called me up, like it was 4 o'clock in the morning. He says, Paul, am I on the radio? Oh, just what I want to know now at 4 o'clock. You know what I mean? But in any case, so the thing is that he was on 2,500, radio and counting on that topic, on beating our speeding ticket. He calculated that had he paid for the equivalent in advertising, it would have cost him well over $2 million. But he generated over $2.5 million of sales. And it was all zero cost marketing. All right? So now, are you ready to shine and you be an entrepreneur doing this kind of zero cost marketing? I'm glad you asked. Or I'm glad I said it. Anyway, you know what I mean? But very easy to think. First of all, you have to ask yourself is, again, back to who's your target market? What do you love to do? What is your topic you want to get involved in? Because right now, the great thing is that before the internet, you had radio and TV stations, of course, and now there's a great deal of proliferation. There's, Blog Talk Radio and so many other great places. This is how I was able to cross paths with Christina, which is really cool, But all those great shows out there, the thing about those shows is they are constantly on the lookout for new content to keep their audiences interested, enthralled, and hopefully growing them as well.
I can attest to that.
Exactly. So the thing is for you is what? If you have content that they find newsworthy, they'd be happy to have you on. Seriously. I mean, if you invite a new type of jar, somebody's going to want to interview you. It's amazing. You know what I mean? Because they need to fill the airtime. Okay. So first of all, figure out what your niche is, and you should go online, look up all the programs that are there. You can easily find them. Just put down things such as radio program plus whatever the keyword is. Healthcare, computers, whatever it is. Okay. But in addition, don't just listen. The internet is not the be all and end all. Don't forget your local library. I want you to consider it a branch office of your business. There you have publications such as the Gale Directory of Print and Broadcast Media. Gale, G-A-L-E, the Gale Directory of Print and Broadcast Media. In there, they list thousands of radio and TV stations, and where there are, their sites, their audiences, tons of great information. The Gale Directory of Print and Broadcast Media. Print and broadcast media. So you'll find places to write an article to meet your target market, and you'll be able to find the programs. And a lot of them even syndicated shows that are in a particular category, right? And so that's one. Another one is Bacon's Publicity Checker. Okay, they do profiles of individual shows on all the programs that are out there. Okay, and then what you do is this. Once you find these programs, don't call them up and say, hi, I'm an expert. You may want to interview me. No, not yet. Not yet. Okay, they'll have you, definitely. But here's the thing. What you should do is this. I want you to listen or view that program religiously, obsessively, for like 4, 5, 6, 7 weeks. And I want you to have a notebook with you or whatever to write on or your favorite word processor. And here's the thing. Let's say, for example, you're into healthcare and you're a health consultant, okay? Well, the show you came across is not the Bob Johnson Health Show or the Jane Johnson Vitamin Nutrition Show. The real name of that show is Herein Lies Examples of Successfully Placed Radio or TV Guests. Okay? In other words, let me tell you something. There are no secrets here. If you want to be a guest on a program, if you just watch for 4, 5, 6 weeks and you jot down, okay, why did they have that lady on that program? Oh, because she wrote a book. Why did I have this guy on? Oh, because he's doing a seminar next week. In other words, you write down who they have on, why they have on, and you listen to how they're communicating, their offerings, then you know exactly what they want and how they want it, okay? Because then you could be able to say, oh, well, geez, they have that person on because of their book. I just wrote a book, and so in other words, then all of a sudden you start falling in a category of being newsworthy. You follow? So then you can be able to communicate the producer of the show. Like I like to do it indirectly. I don't want to call them up and say, you should have me on the program. No, I like to call them up and say, by the way, you had a great guest on. I really appreciate that you had that guest on. As a matter of fact, I listened to another entrepreneur show a few weeks ago, and they had on an associate of mine. So I emailed the host of the show, and I said to her, listen, I'm glad you had Michael on. He is very good at what he does. It's sensational. I really appreciate you did it. And I emailed her, and you make sure your email has a signature with your LinkedIn bio and your website address, because usually when people get that kind of complimentary thing, it's, oh, that's nice. And they say, I want to find out who my audience is. They looked at the LinkedIn bio and said, oh, this looks like a good guest. Perfect, right? Because they're always on the lookout for what? New guests, new content, so they can do what? Hold on to their audience and hopefully even grow their audience. So you help that program and they help you, it's a great win-win situation. Am I right, Chris?
Absolutely.
This is a great example right here.
Yeah, and it's very true. Someone I know in my Facebook had linked into me on Facebook and said, "Oh, I'm doing a new book on creativity in women and how we fit." And I was so intrigued by her title that I just gave her a call and said, "We need to talk." So, I mean, you never know how you come across each other. But before, I don't want us to leave here because we're getting close to the end. I want to let everyone know how we can get in contact with you, find out more about zero-cost marketing, and all of your services.
Well, first of all, thank you kindly. My main site is ravencapitalist.com. It is right now in July. It's being revamped and whatever. But my course, Zero Cost Marketing, is available there. There's even zerocostmarketing.net. And my program is also on Udemy if you want to go see the full course, what they're offering there, And so that's that information. And otherwise, in your handout, my email and my website are there, so it's very easy to contact me. And you know what? When you get a chance, hopefully you get a chance. I had a chance to do a full 45-minute program on content on zero-cost marketing. You know what? I want to give them to that for free when you get a chance. They'll get a freebie of that, and they'll get a chance to get whatever information about the full zero-cost marketing program. That way they can take their education a step further. And hopefully, maybe I'll see you inside the Zero Cost Marketing Program, and we'll learn even more together.
That's right. And for the lucky people here today, you're going to get to raffle and win wonderful Paul's
Exactly. The winner will get we'll send it off, whoever, if you'll do it tonight or whatever.
Yeah,
we're going to send them, the free confidential access to the full Zero Cost. It's like 5 hours of video, 3 hours of audio, plus 8 experts. So there you go. Hey, they're beating it.
Well, I want to thank you again, Paul, for coming to Savvy Central Radio and sharing your wisdom and gifts.
It's a pleasure being here. Thank you kindly. I wish you all continued success. See you down the road.